before you hit submit on your CV, LOI, or application packet, I need you to hit pause because I need you to understand that the difference between blending in and standing out as a candidate in this application season is not your GPA. It's your clarity. Cutting through the noise, the deadline, the checklist, and all of the things that are going to be required of you this year requires strategy around your application if you want to emerge as a top candidate for any program. If you've been asking yourself, what do I need to do to emerge from the crowd instead of blending in? This episode is your blueprint, and this is Success in Doses. The application season is revving up. It is mid-September. Right around this time of the year, countless people around the country notice an increase in the amount of candidates or prospective candidates in either their place of employment or where they are serving on the selection committee. There's an increase in the number of candidates that are interested in engaging with them. And on today's episode, I'm extremely excited to give you some very practical tools and things that you need to think about to help you have clarity around this journey so that you can develop a personalized strategy that's going to be part of your success and making sure that you really emerge as top candidate for any program. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the podcast and welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to have you joining me for today's topic discussion and today's conversation. This isn't going to be a long one because it's packed with practical tools and things that you need to be thinking about and steps that I am hoping that you've already taken to really make sure that this journey, that you're not leaving it to chance, but you're really understanding that there's a lot about this and how this journey unfolds that you're going to drive. You know where we're going and what I'm going to ask. I need you to help me make this podcast discoverable for anyone applying for residency this year. The reason why that's important is because the reason why this podcast exists is to make sure that I have maximum reach over young professionals and final year student pharmacists that are genuinely interested in doing the best they can to meet their goals, exceed expectations, and really effectuate their potential. If you've been able to find me, you have a responsibility to do your small, tiny little part in making sure that you like, subscribe, and really review the podcast. This is how it becomes suggested and discoverable to all other people that are also looking for content and information on how to emerge from the crowd and be anyone's top candidate. And so, without further ado, let's get into it. The reason why I think this episode is so important to our journey on our road to match day or road to decision day, it's because of year after year how absolutely shocking it is to me that when I'm doing mock interview with students and I ask them, why are you pursuing a residency or why are you pursuing a fellowship? This question is like shocking to them. They either can't really pinpoint why they are going down one road or the other, or they will tell you flat out that they're applying to both, which I strongly recommend against because you're splitting your energy. These two applications require different things. They don't all require the same thing. So you're splitting your concentration and your energy between two areas that I just don't think maximizes your chances of being successful in either area. I've seen this play out too many times over the years. So it's either people can't tell me clearly why they are applying, or the response to why they are pursuing either of these things almost makes them a better candidate and a better fit for one versus the other. And so I really wanted to spend some time with you this morning going over how to help you understand whether or not you are, based on what you're saying you want to accomplish, residency or fellowship may be the better option. One of the number one things I think right from the beginning I want to start with is the mistake that many of you make and many of you will make this year is thinking that you just need to go through the motion of application and you will be fine. All you need to do is gather the letters, get the right people to be references, and you're good to go. You're going to secure the outcome you want. I want to strongly advise you against this, as this has not been my experience. My experience has been that the students that have done the research, that have engaged in the meaningful relationship building and networking, the level at which those people are successful, and the level of stress that they are able to avoid is exponentially lower than people who just decide that I'm just gonna toss something out there and see what happens. So I really want to just put that out there for you to make sure you understand that this will require strategy. And so in that strategy building, I have a few things I want to go through. Step one, you have got to get clear on your purpose. Clarity of purpose does a lot for us, no matter what we are trying to accomplish in life. Whether you're trying to lose weight and setting a goal, I just want to be healthier. I want to feel better. I want to move better. I want to lose X amount of weight. I want to be able to play outside longer with my kids. If you don't set clear goals and understand the reason why you're setting those goals, your chances of failure with that goal are so much higher. So residency and or postgraduate training applications are no different from that. And I think this goes over a lot of people's heads in thinking that, oh, I just need to know that I want to complete postgraduate training, but this idea that I need to have really clear understanding of what type of program and what my goals are around the training, that doesn't matter. I disagree with this. And for that clarity of purpose, I think there are 3 key questions to ask yourself that are going to be very, very important. The first question to ask yourself in establishing clarity of purpose is going to be, what do I want my career to look like in 5 years? Knowing how you want to practice when all of the training is over and all of the confidence building phase of your career is over, what you want to be doing and how you want to be functioning, the level at which you want to be practicing, helps a lot, because it helps you figure out what type of experience early you want to be exposed to, how broad you want that to be, how specific you want that to be, what city even, right? The type of patient population you want that to be in. This question is very important and helping set the stage for the types of things and unique learning opportunities you are going to keep an eye out for. So take some time isolating what you see yourself doing in 5 years when you're fully up and running in your professional career. The second question is, what kind of pharmacist or leader do I want to become? I think this is a very important second question to ask yourself as you're getting clear about your purpose, because the type of pharmacist you want to become is very different when you are in various settings. If you want to be the type of pharmacist that has a lot of control over your time, that wants to be in an outpatient setting, and the type of leader you want to be is very important, because again, it's going to help inform the type of training and the type of investment you want to make, because every step of the way for the next 5 years, you want to make sure that you're uniquely positioning yourself for opportunities that are working together for that ultimate goal of answering this question for the type of pharmacist and leader you want to become. Third question I think is important for helping clarify things for you is, what type of setting energizes me? What type of setting excites me? Whether I'm in a hospital, I'm in an ambulatory clinic, or I am in a industry setting, or I'm in academia, I'm in the classroom, I'm teaching, or I'm working one-on-one with students. What type of setting do you find yourself in where you feel like you really are in your groove? You are in your zone of genius. The friction here is almost negligible with respect to how you function for your natural talents, but also the professional skills you're building. In which setting do you find yourself just coming alive? Let me tell you something. Getting up every day to go to work somewhere, to show up somewhere in the best version and most authentic form of yourself possible, is a lot of work. It's very taxing on you and your family. Making sure that that setting pours into you the way you pour into it is going to be a game changer with how satisfied and how happy you are. And so asking yourself these three questions will all work together to help you clearly isolate what setting, what industry, and what type of programs you are looking for in this journey of whether or not just answering that big question of, first of all, is it going to be fellowship or is it going to be residency? I wanted to start there. The next thing I wanted to help you with and making sure that you really are emerging and setting yourself up for a journey that is personalized and a journey that is going to put you above the crowd and just completely break you out of the pack is critically and objectively evaluating your CV for where the gaps are. I don't say this lightly when I say that there are gaps. And the goal here is not really to plug all the gaps that exist in your CV. Time is against you in that regard. The opportunity to secure those learning or unique opportunities to plug those gaps may no longer be available to you. But what this does is it gives you information that can become actionable. Because a common interview question you will come up against is, what is one area of opportunity of growth, aka weakness, you have today that you hope a postgraduate training can help you improve upon? If you haven't done the critical work of looking at your CV objectively to see what is missing, you, number one, don't know what's missing and what you can do today to try to fix that. And number two, you don't know how to prepare for this question on an interview. So critically looking at your CV to see where the gaps are going to be important in these ways. Another thing that this audit does for you, because really it's an audit of your CV, is making sure that you are looking to make sure that your CV is getting the job done. Do you understand the assignment with what your CV is supposed to do? Is it concise? Is it clean? Is it free of fluff? Some people think that one experience gets to surface in 5 different places on their CV. Any recruiter and CV reviewer will know that you're double dipping. I strongly recommend against this. Take a look at your CV to understand that it gets the job done with making sure that it is conveying your experiences, skills, and expertise that you're building and or have actually developed, skills that you've graduated from a good command to mastery in making sure that you are emerging from the crowd. The next thing is, are your key accomplishments really highlighted in an effective way on your CV? I see some people move their leadership section early in their CV. This is an excellent strategy. If you feel like you have a leadership qualities and have stepped up in ways that should be accentuated early, because we know that most people are not going to read that 7-page or the 6 pages. But for residency, I ask that every experience be listed because you do want to send that message that you have done a lot, right? And so what are those experiences that you want right out of the gate to be seen? Move them up earlier in your CV. You will be glad that you did. The third thing with CV here and making sure that this audit is objective. Do you have at least one wow experience? The wow experience usually in leadership or an initiative is going to be amazing, right? Because your appies, everybody's going to put the same thing in those appies that they did. But is there something unique you did during those appies, right? Are you using an active verb that forces this experience to jump out from the page for the reviewer? Taking the time to make sure that you are looking at your CV because it plays such a huge role in whether or not you make it to the next stage is extremely important, right? And so I think it's very important that we cover that. The third thing is we've already created a whole episode addressing this, making sure that you choose your references strategically. Choosing your references strategically does something to helping you understand a lot about this journey. Because if you need a certain type of preceptor or reference and you're not getting that, that could be problematic. We are not going to spend a lot of time here because I've created a thorough a very thorough episode already for you on how to make sure, and then helped and created a checklist for you with questions you should be asking yourself about the references that you choose, all to make sure that you can recognize the red flags early and that you know that the people you're picking, you've done your due diligence in making sure these are going to be people that can really speak on your behalf in a way that helps you emerge from the crowd, right? Can these people speak to your growth? Growth is important in this journey. Programs are not looking for candidates that are perfect. They're not looking for candidates that have all the skills and qualifications already. They're not looking for candidates that are going to come in and know how to do everything already. They're looking for learners, they're looking for team members, and they're looking to know that you've got some experience with being uncomfortable, but sticking it out and growing through that. And the person being your reference knows how to clearly articulate all of those growth journeys and experiences that they've observed you go through, right? Some of that growth may be easy to capture in a clinical rotation, but it may also be really good to have somebody that's known you longer, right? Such as a professor or an administrator or an advisor that can really talk about your growth as a leader, your growth in the initiatives that you developed and the impact that you've had, right? On your campus, on your class, on the school and college of pharmacy as a whole. I think this is so, so important in this journey for you. Do they know you well enough to actually personalize your letter? References are very important in how personalized it is because it sends a message that this person actually knows you in a way that just transcends, can you get it done, right? And then their credibility in their field also matters. As I've said, we covered all these things in detail already in just episode 17, the episode right before this. The fourth thing in this journey that is important, you cannot wait till last minute for big things that need to be worked on. Start your LOI draft early. Hey, you need to start working on your LOI early. Everyone knows that I've said this a million times. If you've ever been a part of any workshop I've ever hosted on an LOI. Writing your LOI is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You want this to be a marathon and not a sprint for a few reasons. Your LOI is the only thing in your application packet that adds your voice to the room. You are telling your story in that moment. Everything else is objective. Everything else is about what other people think about you. The letters of recommendation, the transcript, up until they get to your LOI, your voice isn't a part of the mix yet. It may take you a few tries. It may take you a few strategies to come up with the pitch, the tone, and approach that is going to be the winning strategy with your LOI. We will get into this in further detail in the months to come, but I find that right now, doing a little bit of curating around what you want your letter of intent to have with respect to content could be very, very important. But sitting in front of a blank page one weekend at mid-year to come up with your letter of intent, if there was a losing strategy, this would be it. I see it year after year. People who work on their LOI in steps, focusing on the first paragraph and understanding what are the things that this first paragraph need to do for me in order to make sure that I nail it. I grab their attention from jump and I don't let go of them, right? That's going to take work. And over time, you're going to move things around and play with things to make sure that it really strikes a chord, the right tone to make sure that what you want to convey is being conveyed exactly the way you desire. That's the benefit of starting early. And then a creative tip on opening your LOI. Start with something personal or start with a conviction. Start with what you really believe is true about yourself. I ask folks this all the time when we sit down for LOI content curation. One of my favorite questions to ask anyone for LOI hook is, what is one thing that you know is true about you when you're put in a room full of 30 other people? What is one thing that you know is true about you and that no one in that room will likely do this better than you? What is that thing? Are you going to be the person who everyone in that room is going to know your name within the first week, within the first day even? because of your natural talent as being a connector, making people feel comfortable. You are not afraid to walk up to anyone and strike up a conversation, right? You are a master at working the room and networking, right? You can relate to people because you're an excellent listener. When you ask people questions, you actually listen attentively to find the commonalities in that conversation that can turn that into a meaningful exchange in that moment. Or are you relying on the things that are inside you that are true? In a room full of 50 people, no one in this room can outwork me. Show me the assignment, and I know that in this room, nobody is going to go deeper and harder, and nobody is going to seek a level of understanding about the assignment in order to execute flawlessly like I will. Do you know that to be true? Is it your resilience in the face of challenge? Knowing the things that you believe about yourself to be true can be excellent weapons and tools in crafting the best letters of intent. We will talk about this in detail because it is my favorite part of working with students applying for residency, helping you craft a letter of intent that is not just compelling, but is creatively written. So the person reviewing your letter, after reading 30 letters straight that were super boring, they feel like they're about to embark on a journey with yours. And it actually still addresses all the things that they want. It's doable. I've done it all these years, right? And so pitfalls with the letters of intent, again, generic, and then rehashing your CV in your letter of intent. This is a major pitfall that I see too many times. Just going over your CV again. I was president of this, and then I did this, and then I did that, and then I won this, and then the CV is already there. The LOI is to make sure that the storytelling component of this experience is captured. Prepare mentally for this journey. And this is where I want to spend more time than not, because this episode is not meant to be very long. Episode is just meant to get you thinking about everything you need to be working on for this season. But I need to tell you the truth about what's about to happen. And I have a responsibility to tell you the truth about what you're embarking on, the journey you are embarking on. Because to me, the fact that this catches so many candidates off guard year after year, I don't know why. Maybe it's because they haven't found me. Because my co-resis, you guys know what I'm about to say. Applying for residency is going to be one of the most emotionally taxing things you probably have ever done professionally until this point. Reason for that is, number one, the process is very clunky and convoluted and inconsistent between programs. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. Some programs are going to ask you for supplementals. Some programs won't. Some programs will do a preliminary phone interviews. Others won't. Listen, some programs may not even get back to you. That is how inconsistent and unregulated it is with the level of freedom and power the programs have and how they go through this with you. This is going to test you mentally. And it's not going to be the type of test of, I really need to pass this class with a B or better. It's not that. This is the type of mental test that's going to have you questioning what you can do. That's going to have you questioning what you are capable of delivering. And so I'm very, very transparent about this in that having safe and healthy coping mechanisms through this journey. If you've never invested in understanding what helps me keep going, is it my family? Is it sitting at my mom's dinner table and having her remind me who I am and how I've done all these hard things in the past before I can also do this? Is it my grandmother's hug and my grandmother's apple pie and her telling me, talk to me about what's going on, and her telling me that she is intentionally putting me in her prayers, and her prayer warriors are at it on my behalf to secure my success? Is that what I need to keep going? Is it running, right? For some people, is it something as practical as running? Is it as practical as journaling every day? Is it leaving yourself a voice note? Is it sending yourself positive emails to keep your momentum going and up? But I think that this season will require you to spend some time really reflecting on what you do that works for you when you find yourself on uneven ground and things are shaky and there are a lot of uncertainty in the mix. This process is the most uncertain it'll ever be. It's different from pharmacy school. There were some guarantees you could have taken around that. But this, everything is in the cards. Not matching is in the cards. Granted, the statistics look better with more interviews you secure. But every year I have the candidate that only got 1 to 2 interviews and they match over the candidate that got 9 interviews. Everything's in the cards during this journey. And if you approach it as such and you don't buy into the hype of I've done all these things as a student pharmacist, and you don't buy into the hype that you are pretty much guaranteed to get the position, but you understand that this position is going to be earned, that stress decreases a little bit because you start having some built-in insurance policies through the journey. But I would be remiss if I really, really didn't take the time and energy to tell you that preparing mentally for what's going to happen is definitely one of the things and one of the top 5 things that we've gone over today that needs to happen, because even for the medical side, right? People end up in the emergency room with psychiatric emergencies on match day. Match day is widely recognized as a day where emergency rooms around the country may see people come in or people brought in because of concerns for self-harm. I know if you're listening to this and thinking, what? That's okay. That's shocking to you. But that's a reality. That's a reality because people put so much of themselves into this process. And the idea that at the end of that, they will have nothing to show for it is a devastating reality to face, right? And so I think starting early, that's one of those insurance policies that you can build in. Leveraging resources like myself, right? Some of these resources that I'm putting out this year are not paid. You can join my YouTube channel, right? ResiPrep 360 to stay abreast on all of the things residency related. LinkedIn, reach out, right? I will be doing TikTok lives this year. That's a new feature because I'm told a lot of you are on TikTok looking for resources. And I continue to look for ways to make myself available so that I am reaching more of you to help maximize your success, right? But wherever you are hearing this, please make sure that you're sharing it with others that are going through this journey, because it will be mentally taxing. And I want to make sure that I am very transparent with you as your co-resi and just letting you know that it won't be easy. And I don't want you to buy into the fallacy that you've been chosen and there are some guarantees. The only guarantee is if you plot, strategize, and come ready to win. You gotta plot, you gotta strategize, and you gotta understand that all possible outcomes are in the mix. Like they are all possible. If you condition yourself for that, something shifts in your mindset because your mindset starts to gravitate towards, well, what do I do to make sure to minimize the likelihood that this other negative outcome is something I find myself faced with? What can I do? Right? And there are answers on the other side of that because there is always something else that you can do to maximize your chances of success and button this thing up even better. Right? I am here. I am eager. I am excited and almost begging for you to follow these socials and join the conversations online so that you are engaging with like-minded individuals and being exposed to other people's journeys, because I will be bringing those stories here to share that are going to encourage you, that are going to empower you to do more, to prepare yourself for success. And that requires baby steps, incremental steps. In September, you can do very few things to prepare. October, you do extra little things. November, you know that the season is upon us because we would all be getting ready for mid-year. Once you are at mid-year, it's go time. Prep time is over. By the time you get to mid-year, prep time is not real anymore. It's go time. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And so I think it's very important that we are having these conversations and that I am preparing you in a realistic way, because I will always tell you the truth, right? I will always tell you the truth. And so that's what this podcast episode today is about. It's just about starting early, asking yourself questions, and making sure that you are clear on whether or not you want to do a residency or a fellowship. Again, strongly recommending that you pick a path and commit and prepare for that journey, because they are vastly different. They require different things with respect to how you prepare for them, and then go for it. And I'm very, very excited and thrilled that we are finally engaging in residency. The unique stories and the stories of other people that have gone through this process successfully on first try, and others that have required more than one try, I will be bringing those stories here to you. And hopefully, what that does is inspire you to push, and inspire you to stay dedicated and committed, and inspire you to invest in the strategy that it will take to be successful. As always, I am so grateful for you choosing this podcast to begin your week with, and for you choosing me as a voice that can contribute to your growth and development. Please comment below for anything that was enlightening for you. Rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening. Spotify, on YouTube. Please go watch the episodes. And Apple, please rate and leave a review. It's very encouraging to know you guys are really great about texting, about DMing, about emailing, but we need some of this engagement to transition to the platforms, because the algorithm is the algorithm and we are all up against it. This episode talks to you a lot about incremental things you can do for success. And you know that on this platform, it is specifically built to make sure that you stay realistic in the goals you're setting, because success really does happen one dose at a time. It is a marathon and not a sprint. And during this season that we are entering with postgraduate application, I will make sure to come back to you with a lot more reaffirming this point in that success really, really does take one step at a time, and it really only happens in doses. And learn to pause, stop, and celebrate your incremental success. As always, I'm grateful for you being here and listening all the way through. Please have a wonderful, productive week, and I'll see you and talk to you on Monday. Bye.